stop. I'm sure you guys have a ton of questions. If you want to unmute yourselves now, and then that way we can just kind of freely talk together. I would like to also ask your permission, if it's okay with you. I've had some emails from parents who could not show up tonight, who couldn't join us tonight. And so I'm recording this meeting from now on. As soon as you guys say yes, it's okay. And then that way I'll share it with those parents, if that's okay with everybody. Anybody opposed to that? Okay. Kristen, I'm going to go attend to my dogs really fast because they're making a lot of noise. I'm going to take over real quick, and I'm going to mute myself, okay?
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. Just first and foremost, thank you so much for watching the videos and showing up. I know things are pretty uncertain right now, so I definitely appreciate your time this evening on your Friday evening at that. I have registration letters that Shannon will email to you, which basically condenses everything you just saw into one email document. But I want to take questions from you guys on anything at all in the meantime before that. And I'll also make myself available via email afterwards too, if you think of something later. But the floor is open, anything that you're curious about anything.
Probably the number one thing you guys are all asking, because you did not get a letter with all the information in it, you're probably wondering, how much is this trip? Am I right? Yes. Kristen, am I right? $27.87?
Yep, that's correct. And that's all inclusive, round trip flights, 3 meals each day, all of our vendors as well. And also the coaches and the staff as well on the trips. I did want to,
yeah.
Yes. One of the things that our video did not show that we, but that we are working on to revise our marketing materials, is the Disney portion of the trip is a big portion of this. You do go to Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom and Epcot, and we have a partnership with Magic Kingdom where we have the kids come in early at the beginning of the park before it opens, where they do a STEM program and kind of a physics portion with the roller coasters with the education team at Disney. So that's something was kind of not emphasized as much on the videos, but that's a big portion that you'll see in the registration letter that Shannon shows you. And obviously kids love the parks. I love Disney, but the educational component that they get at each park too is huge and a big on value that I think as well.
I'm just typing in real quick, $27.87 all inclusive. One thing that I really wanted to stress for you all, because this is kind of my second time through, even though we haven't gone yet. One thing that I really, really, really encourage you all to do is to call customer service and really take advantage of that FLAG financial assistance program. It is a substantial amount of money that if you are qualified, and I think the household income is $85,000. Is that right, Kristen? And correct. I really encourage you guys to, if you can, go ahead and take advantage of that. That's just money that's out there waiting for your student. You don't have to pay that back or anything. So that's really big. The other thing is, if you sign up early, and Kristen, you and I, you guys, we did this kind of quickly, and Kristen and I never talked about this. What is the deadline for registration, Kristen?
So right now it's June 2nd. So I encourage you, I mean, the first great reason to sign up early is because for me personally, I would like a longer period of time to pay for the payments because they're smaller. But second, we do lower the registration cost to $49.99 versus $99. And we also take $150 off the trip for early bird discounts, because we see that those who do sign up early, it's just a lot easier to manage versus signing up for something, I guess, a few months beforehand. The payment plans that they talked about are really great. We don't use cookie cutter payment plans. So essentially customer service will work with you to what works best for you. So we have, some families who will have payment plans that extend past the trip. And we have some families, who are able to do a little bit more and just want to get the trip paid for. But it's unique to each family, which I think is great, because not everybody's the same, and everybody has kind of a different predicament, especially with everything going on right now.
Right. I think also the other thing I wanted to let you guys know about, we've had some fundraisers that we did over the year as we were preparing for our trip. Really, the only thing we did is we asked the kids to participate in a concessions, and each time they helped man a concession stand, and we typically just kept those at junior high events because we wanted the junior high to support us and kind of know what we were doing. But each time the student made about probably $50. And so we had some students that signed up just once. We had some students sign up twice. And I had 3 opportunities to sign up. So we'll probably do that same thing. And then if you guys have any other things that you know of that you would like to try, I'm open to ideas. But the concessions really worked well, and it was just a 1.5 to 2 hour time commitment per session. Yeah. What other questions do you guys have?
And just to piggyback too off of what you were saying, Shannon, just to elaborate a little bit more on Gift of Education, the first thing Shannon said. So a lot of students who kind of have families spread out or have, you know, family friends that they're really close with, it's essentially like similar to a GoFundMe, but the students get everything versus GoFundMe takes a portion of the proceeds. So a lot of parents or students have put that on their Facebook page and talked a little bit about, you know, maybe their aspirations for college or travel, and that's really successful too. We have a lot of students who also just primarily fundraise so with their schools. So after now, I think that Shannon has successfully grew the group at first to about almost 30 the
Right.
first round. You know, I'm confident that now she's an expert. We'll be able to maybe incorporate a little bit more depending on what either happens at school or even brainstorm for something virtual. But I have students who are able, you know, over the course of a year, able to fundraise a big portion of their trip.
So there's a question here I'm just gonna address. Jocelyn's asked, do you do a trip each year? Meaning that incoming 7th graders would have this opportunity each year for the next 3 years. The answer to that, Jocelyn, is 100%, I'm not sure. We've talked a lot about, Mr. Johnson has talked a lot about wanting to make sure that we can sustain the trip and with the interest. World Strides has a lot of different trips that we can choose from. And prior to all of this with COVID-19, Kristen and I were working on a trip for 2021 to Boston, and it would be going to MIT and doing a lot with robotics and different things. And then this happened, and so we decided we were going to continue with Florida. The answer to that question though is, I think ideally I would like to grow this into an every year thing. But right now I'm not quite sure that, I don't know what the answer is to that. It's not a very good answer, but that's where I'm at. Kaylin is asking, is a parent allowed to go? And if so, what is their cost? The answer is yes, they are. And in fact, I have quite a few parents going on my trip this spring break. And not only are parents allowed to go, but any siblings, anybody, they do not have to be 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at this time. I think in order to help me out though, if somebody under 6th grade is going to travel, then I would want a parent to go with them. And I think it's probably best for us to cap 9th grade. Normally this trip is going to be just 7th and 8th graders for that current school year. But because we had 8th graders who weren't allowed to go, or we couldn't go, so they'll become 9th graders, and I didn't want to tell them, sorry, you can't go. So this is probably the only year that we're going to have the exception of having 9th graders. But we absolutely, anybody can go. As far as the cost, Kristen? Do you know off the top of
Oh,
your head?
okay.
I'm
So,
sorry.
well, oh, that's okay. So for the first portion, just to kind of relay that too, in terms of if high schoolers on the trip, just so you know too, we will never room middle and high schoolers together. That's not going to happen. So just to reassure you, and we do have night chaperones outside of each hotel block each night. So just wanted to clarify that. I don't see a lot of issues with that when it happens. So it really depends, Shannon. So what we do is we set up each teacher with the ratio, and so essentially we like to cover the program, try to cover the program leader's cost at a certain number, and then once they get to another number, we give them a free chaperone. So if you were a chaperone of Shannon's, you would likely have a prorated cost. If you were just going on your own, the cost would be the same. But with that too, if we do have family members going together, that is something that customer service does take into consideration, because obviously it's a lot larger of an investment. So that is something that we see a lot of, moms and kids wanting to go, dads and kids wanting to go together. So that is something that we, take into consideration with payment plans.
And also with that, they'll take into consideration if you guys want a room together. So typically the kids will be placed in what's called a quad room. So it'll be a student and 3 other students. And we go to great lengths to make sure that they room with whoever they want to room with. Making sure that they've got at least one person that's a good buddy of theirs that they're comfortable rooming with. But if you go with parents and the parent wants to room, then that's a different room. So they could do a triple room. They could even do a double room. With those rooms, the cost is a little bit more, and you'd have to talk to customer service and find out what that is. But if that's something that you would like to do, you can do that as well. Go ahead.
For adults though, if you, let's say you're going with your kid and your kid is, in a typical 4-person room, we're not going to make you do that. You'll just be another adult. If you'd like to upgrade for single room, that's fine. But most members of the community know each other well enough with a room with someone else.
And if we don't know each other well enough, we will by the trip. Yeah. Jocelyn asked, what's the date? What are the dates of the trip? It will be this coming spring break, so March 14th through the 18th. So that's a Sunday through Thursday. And Sunday morning, Kristen, I'm assuming it's going to be about the same schedule for this trip. So Sunday morning, our flight was early Sunday morning. So we had to be at the airport at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I think our flight was around 6 a.m. But we get to Florida and then we jump right away. We don't go to the hotel. We go immediately to Epcot. We spend the rest of the day there at Epcot. And then on Thursday, we go to Animal Kingdom. And again, I'm not sure if the scheduling is going to be about the same, but we go to Animal Kingdom on Thursday and then stay there for a good part of the day and then leave around 2 or so to head to the airport, and then we come home. And our flights would be in Omaha around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the evening. So it's a good full 5 days.
Yes, and the morning one may vary a little bit depending on whether there's a connecting flight or not, as well as the evening one, but she's pretty spot on for that area of the country that we work with. And the activities are what she's listed. The first day you'll do Wild Florida, which is our vendor with the hands-on animal experiences that you saw, and an airboat gator ride, and the last day is Animal Kingdom. And the registration letters we'll email you out. We'll have that breakdown of each day, but the days are full from start to finish. So I always tell a lot of my parents, are like, well, we're worried, what if they're up all night? They're not. They usually pass out. It's a really busy trip.
And did you guys notice in that video about the safety? This is another thing that is unique to World Strides. I haven't heard of this from another travel agency or a travel company. They have chaperones that they hire to sit. We're all going to be in the same block, typically in the hotel. And so we'll all be together. But I don't know about you, but I was really concerned about, I want to make sure that if I go to bed at 10:30, I don't have people sneaking out and not that your kids are sneakers, I'm sure they're not, but you want to make sure that your kids are safe. And those chaperones are literally there to sit in the hallways. And if your child opens the door, they say, no, sir, you go back in, or no, ma'am, you go back in. And that is peace of mind for me. So they have a curfew. They'll have to be in their rooms at 10 o'clock. They cannot leave after that.
And the chaperones are there until about 4 a.m. We hire them and screen them. And the course leader that they mentioned, who's basically your tour guide essentially, and giving you like the educational components with each place, they stay in your same hotel too. So they are coordinating and telling you what time to get up for breakfast. They are what time to get on the bus. What do you need for the day? So Shannon, luckily, is also able to be there more as a teacher and enjoy herself as well as the adults, because the course leader is organizing and coordinating the trip for you. So
And that
parents,
was
yeah,
literally such a tease for me because our trip got canceled on Thursday and we were supposed to leave on Sunday. So literally 2 days, 3 days before we were supposed to leave, our trip was postponed. And I got to speak with our travel, with our course leader. She was amazing. I don't know if we'll get her again, but she was so thoughtful and she was asking me what kinds of things we're looking for educational materials, and this is what I recommend. And this, she was super knowledgeable. The kids have an opportunity to earn credit for this class. They'll have to do some stuff after they get back. It's just an amazing opportunity. Lots and lots to think about.
would you what like me to address these two, Shannon? These two next questions?
Yes, please.
Okay, so for the first one, Megan, Megan.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I couldn't. Your name. Okay. So it really just depends on the activity. In terms of the parks, a lot of our groups, because not everybody is a thrill seeker, not everyone wants to go on all the rides. Some kids want to see the exhibits and shows. We will separate groups with chaperones, Shannon, a course leader, to separate for the day, to kind of depending on interest, so that we're not having any kid not able to enjoy their day because they don't like the same things as another. Outside of the parks, really in terms of our STEM and motion program, I don't really see a lot of that. Wild Florida is an airboat ride, and then it's kind of animal experiences. So outside of the boat ride, if you didn't want to handle any animals or whatnot, you don't have to. We also have the comedy show and Wonderworks, which is exhibits as well, so it's pretty independent. The only thing I can think of is that if a kid was not comfortable on water, once we hopefully reincorporate that kayaking experience, everybody does have life vests, and our guides that work with us at our vendors are CPR and lifeguard certified. But we would definitely work with the kids if there was a kid who had some type of outstanding situation where they were uncomfortable. But for this particular program, it's pretty friendly for all experience levels.
And I'm going to jump in before you answer the next question. That reminds me, if you've got food allergies or any kind of dietary restrictions, they're awesome with that. All I had to do was I got that all from the parents. I forwarded that on. And then my course leader had a copy of that. And so that was one of the things when we had our discussion, she went through and said, okay, this is who I have. This is what their requirements are, the restrictions are. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, and a lot of times maybe there's a menu that they can choose from. And the great thing is, being it's in Florida, the restaurants that we go to are used to serving people with dietary restrictions. And so it's not like they just get a salad every single time. So that was really impressive. I like that.
Yeah, we have been working with our vendors for years and years, so they're used to us. They're used to the volume of kids. They're used to the allergies. That I've seen a lot of crazy allergies I did not even know existed, and we have made it work. We've had, for some of them very strict ones, have had our course leaders stop at Publix or grocery stores to make sure that their kid still has something to eat. So that's huge. For the next part, this is something that is great news, which I was really happy for when we started to navigate coronavirus. I was a bit wary, as you can imagine, working in travel. So originally what our full refund program is pre-COVID is you have the option to purchase the travel insurance. That means that if you have to cancel, you get your full cost back minus what you paid for the travel insurance, which is usually about $250. And then if you don't purchase the insurance, you don't get that refund. Because of coronavirus, we have treated everybody the same in this situation. So even if parents did not purchase the travel insurance, we've treated them like they did. So they got the same refund as those who purchased the travel insurance minus the cost, and that's really to be fair to the people who did pay for it. But yeah, that was great.
And that is the main reason right there that I will be loyal to World Strides, because other companies did not do that. And so when you're talking almost $3,000 for your child to go on a trip, and literally 3 days before we're supposed to go, it's canceled, not by anything other than just, this was a freak something. That's one thing that I will really, really encourage you guys. Hopefully, prayerfully, we'll never ever have to go through anything like this again. But I strongly recommend that you do purchase that travel insurance. And I think, Kristen, you said they have up until like 30 days after they register to sign up for that. If you decide, at first, now I'm not going to, and then, yeah, maybe I better should. You just never know what's going to happen. And I think it's really a wise investment for you guys to spend that insurance, or to pay that extra for the insurance, just because of everything that happened.
It's been an easy sell now.
Yeah, I bet.
Coronavirus.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing to me that the company just said, you know what, we would like to maintain our relationships with our clients, and we'll go ahead and give the refund minus the cost of the insurance. So I thought that was really, really cool. Long meeting, you guys. We've gone over our 30 minutes. I'm sorry.
And Shannon, I did mention to everybody when you're with your dogs, either through you or to me. I know that given everything going on right now, I want everybody to feel comfortable. So if you have questions, to email Shannon after this, she'll send them right to me. I am kind of obsessively will answer my emails. So I, would love to give you guys any answers or insight or reassurance that I can. I really appreciate all of you being here.
One more thing I want to tell you. We talked about the financial assistance program, that flag. We talked about the early bird discount. I also want to mention, it's very important that you talk to your customer service agent when you talk to them on the phone. And because we're starting so late, previously the kids had a year to sign up, and so they had a year to pay for it. Because we're starting so short now, I really encourage you guys to talk about your payment options. There is something, but you have to ask for it, and you have to ask, you have to set this up. But it's something called an extended payment plan, which means you don't have to have it paid the day that we travel on our trip. You can have a month or 2 or even 3 to pay for that afterwards. And so we're really just trying to make this as easy for you guys and lower your monthly payments. So lots and lots of opportunities. I wish that I could pay for everybody. I wish that we had a scholarship. That's something maybe to work on in the future. But listen, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, anything, please let me know, okay? I would love to have you guys join us. Okay, if that's it, I'm going to end the meeting. You guys have my email address, and I will be sure to get in touch with you guys, or you get in touch with me. We'll kind of touch base and see what's going on, okay? All right, you guys. Take care. See you later.